So, okay, good morning. Can we start the program, please? The technical team should let me know when they are ready. All right, a very good morning to you all. And I'd like to welcome us to this workshop on CBN ROT 200 FS program on rebate payments. This is put together by Zenith Bank PSC. My name is Henry Oro, Executive Director, Zenith Bank PSC, and I'll be your moderator in today's program. We shall kick off this program by an opening remarks, an opening prayer by Thomas Oluwa, and this will be followed by a rendition of the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thomas Ebun Oluwa, please, for the opening prayers. Can we have Thomas Ebun Oluwa for the opening prayers, please? I'm sure a few people are still trying to sign in. Do we have Anastasia Neboliza in the house?
Anastasia, mute Thomas. I can see him, but it's muted. So if you can unmute Thomas, maybe he can't unmute himself. So
okay, please, let's those are in the technical room. Can you unmute Thomas Ebun Oluwa?
Hello, Thomas. Can you unmute yourself?
If someone is having problems unmuting himself, can we have Michael Imonije? Are you there, Michael Imonije?
Well, let's go.
All right, thank you. Michael, please, let's have the opening prayer from you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Father, we thank you for this program. We appreciate you for your kindness. We appreciate you for your goodness. We pray, Lord, even as you open this webinar for us, we pray, Lord, all the participants, give them wisdom, the word of courage, the word of wisdom, and Lord, keep us together in peace and in harmony. Father, we pray for Zenith Bank as a whole, that even as they're taking it upon themselves to organize this webinar, this workshop, we pray that, Lord, at the end of the day, whatever will be delivered there, be to your mercy and your glory. That the aim will be achieved through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you very much, Michael. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to this workshop. In January 2022, the CBN launched the ROT 200 FS program, meant to improve the value of exports of non-oil products generating FX revenue of over $200 billion in 5 years. On an annual basis, in a couple of years preceding this launch and following, Zenith Bank has organized its proprietary trade seminar on non-oil exports. Today's workshop, ladies and gentlemen, is an additional initiative by the bank in support of the CBN program and to enable the economic empowerment of the youths, customers of Zenith, and the entire citizenry of our great country. This program will run for about 2.5 hours, comprising of 2 presentations by distinguished subject matter experts. But before we go on, gentlemen, I would like us to stand up and a rendition of the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you. Right. So by way of housekeeping, the first paper today will be on operationalizing the CBN ROT200 FS program, the product qualifications and documentation. And this will be delivered by the Director, Trade and Exchange Department, Central Bank of Nigeria, our distinguished Dr. Nanji Ozomina. Thank you, Madam, for honoring our invitation. And the second paper today, thank you very much. The second paper today will be on operationalizing the CBN ROT200 FS program, the role of pre-inspection agents. And this will be delivered by the General Manager, Neroli Technology, one of the foremost pre-inspection agents covering Southwest and the Lagos ports, amongst others. And that will be delivered by Kunle Ajayi. Mr. Kunle Ajayi, thank you also for honoring our invitation. After these 2 papers, the audience will have the opportunity. Thank you, Kunle. After these papers, the audience will have the opportunity for some questions directed at any of the presenters. Please, you are required to identify yourself and place your questions in the chat room. And also kindly indicate the presenter your question is directed at. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great honor I would like to introduce to you our chief host for the day, who will be giving us the opening remarks, the Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Zenith Bank, Dr. Ebenezer Onyango. Dr. Onyango, please.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome everybody to this workshop, RT200 workshop, operationalizing the non-oil exports rebate scheme of the CBN. Like Henry mentioned, this scheme was introduced by the Central Bank about a year ago. And the RT200, the acronym represents raise the sum of $200 billion in non-oil export proceeds repatriation in the next 5 years. This is a very laudable initiative. It's an initiative that is supposed to drive the huge economic diversification program of the federal government and also is an initiative that will enable us realize the full potentials of our natural endowments. Permit me to show you, to share a screen, but before that, let me say that one of the key anchors of the scheme is the fact that there is an incentive, a rebate incentive, whereby every export proceed repatriated and sold into the market. For every export proceed sold into the market, the exporter realizes 65 naira per dollar rebate. If the exporter utilizes the export proceeds for its own business, they still get a rebate of 35 naira per dollar. And since the scheme started, let me share the screen. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it, sir. We can see it.
Since the scheme started, the Q1, CBN paid a total of 3.23 billion as rebate, out of which Zenith Bank customers' share of that rebate was 2.52 billion, amounting to 78%. Q2, CBN paid 20.66 billion. Zenith customers received 10.54 billion, giving 51%. Q3, CBN paid 40.44 billion. Zenith customers received 15.37 billion, which translates to 38%. Q4, the central bank paid 54.96 billion. Zenith customers got 29.13%, 29.13 billion, which translates to 53%. Overall, for the entire year, the central bank has paid rebate of 119.29 billion, out of which 57.56 billion were received by Zenith customer, giving a total average of 55%. This statistic speaks to so many things. First of all, you can see that from Q1, when the scheme was introduced, to Q2, there is a growth in terms of the amount being paid, which means a lot of exporters are embracing the scheme, and not only are they exporting, they are also repatriating. The other very important statistics you can get from this table is to see that Zenith Bank remains the dominant export bank of the country at 55% of the total industry. In an industry where we have over 30 banks, it shows that Zenith indeed is a clear market leader when it comes to export. This did not come out of nothing. It's coming on the back of the fact that for the past 8 years, we have continued to organize annual exports workshop, annual export seminar, where we expose exporters to the rudiments of export. We also provide opportunity and access to funding of export business. So it is on this background that we've taken it upon ourselves to further look at how to expand this scheme, how to make the scheme more robust, and how to create opportunity for exporters to benefit. Because what we've seen is that since the introduction of the scheme, some exporters claim that they have not been able to access the rebates. And we believe that the opportunity and the potential for us to do more is there. If that is there, we feel that as the leading export bank in the country, it behoves on us to lead the way in providing guidance, insights, and directives to exporters on how to maximize the benefit of the rebate. So it is on this background that we organize this workshop specifically to achieve the following: provide an in-depth understanding of the rebate payment scheme, then help exporters to identify products that qualify for rebate payment. Third is to enable exporters to appreciate the value addition to products to qualify for rebate payment. And the fourth one is also create that opportunity for exporters to understand the basic requirement and the documentation for them to be eligible and qualify for the rebate. So we've taken our time, and I want to appreciate the Director of Trade and Exchange, who has been very supportive to our initiative in driving exports. I thank you, Dr. Zemen Anaji, for making our time to speak to the audience. So she will be speaking to us to let us have a bigger and broader understanding of the entire scheme and how it's being appreciated and how it's being driven from the CBN perspective. We also have Kunle Ajay, a general manager at Nero Technologies Limited. He will be speaking from the perspective of the documentation required by the exporters in terms of dealing with the different agencies at the port. So I'm confident that this workshop will provide not just information, but also give a deeper insight to every exporter on what is required to drive the scheme and get maximum benefit from it. So Zenith Bank, we believe that ramping up the non-oil exports scheme is a no-brainer for the economy. If you go by the statistics of the federal, that's the statistics of the Export Promotion Council, the total non-oil export proceeds realized last year was $4.8 billion, compared to $3.4 billion recorded in 2021. This translates to about 40% growth. The expectation is that in this year, 2023, we expect that the growth should be heightened. We are looking forward to a situation where we should be able to drive not less than an 80% growth compared to the figure of 2023. So consequently, for Zenith Bank, we will continue to support the growth of non-oil export business. And we can assure all the participants here that our top-level premium service backed by top-rated automated processing system is available for them. You feel free to contact any one of us. We are available to attend to your needs. We are ready to provide guidance. We are ready to provide support. We are ready to let you know, to deal with all the problems and challenges that you have. Then our platform agenda for promoting export, which is Hero to Zero platform, will continue to sustain it. As the name connotes, Zero to Hero means if you are in this scheme and you have never done export before, we'll provide an opportunity to nurture you, to mentor you, and get you into the export platform. So you come in not having an idea, not having a knowledge of export, we'll be able to prepare you in terms of the kind of product you want to focus on, and also go the extra mile in helping you identify export market overseas. Then we'll also continue to support the scheme with our annual export seminar. In fact, we have already started work. This workshop we are organizing is a prelude to the main export seminar for this year that we'll be organizing. Then we'll continue to provide funding. We'll have flexible funding packages that cost across pre-shipment, post-shipment, and also export rediscounting, discounting of export instruments. So our enlightening programs on development in the sector, such as this workshop we are having today, will continue to be executed. So today's workshop is in line with our commitment to support the federal government initiative and the CBN's drive to grow our non-export business. If we are not able to grow it, we'll have ourselves to blame. The opportunities are there, the exportable items are there. We don't need to look too far to find what to export from every region of this country. So I'm confident that this workshop will be very informative and it will witness lively participation from all participants. And we are careful in making sure that we are not bringing too many people to speak. We just brought 2 experts who will be speaking so that we create enough time for question and answer. So I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining as we look forward to a very interesting and engaging session. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Ebenezer Onyango. Please, let's feel free to appreciate Dr. Onyango. Thank you so very much, the MDC of Zenith Bank, especially for the leadership you and Zenith Bank has played in leading export promotions in Nigeria, especially the export of non-oil beneficiated products, that is value-added products. The goal of this program is not just exports of raw materials. We are talking especially of exports of value-added products. And Zenith Bank, by the numbers we have, has played a very leading role in this subject. Thank you so very much, the Group MDC of Zenith Bank, Dr. Onyango. All right, we go straight to the program, and the first paper today will be delivered by Dr. Uzomena Naji, who is the Director, Trade and Exchange, Department of Central Bank of Nigeria. She's somebody who has always been with the bank and has appeared in almost all of our trade programs. We are very happy and honored to have the presence of Dr. Naji Uzomena here today. Dr. Uzomena will speak for us for 1 hour, and we will now move to the next speaker after her. But please, as the presenters present their papers, feel free to place your questions in the chat room. We're going to pick those questions, and during Q&A, those questions will be read out to the presenters for answers. Thank you so very much. Dr. Naji, please.
Good morning, Mr. Henry. Good morning, MD. Good morning, colleagues gathered here at this seminar. It says the host enabled me from sharing my slide. Host, can you enable me to share?
Yeah, Raymond, please enable Dr. Naji to share. Please. Dr. Naji, you can go ahead and share your paper. You'll be given rights to share.
Still telling me this host disabled participants sharing, screen sharing.
Right, Dr. Naji, we can see your screen. Dr. Naji, I think you are muted, and we can see your paper on the screen. Yes, Dr. Naji. We have your paper on the screen, and you can go ahead and make your presentation, please.
Okay. But can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm not sure what's going on in my own side here.
Yeah, we can hear you very loud and clear, and your paper is on the screen, so you can roll it on and make your presentation.
Okay, if you can see my paper, I have. I have introduction. My mouse is kind of, just give me 1 minute.
Madam, are you on 2 devices? Seems you are on 2 devices, madam.
Log out.
I'm not on 2 devices, please.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're here now. You can see my slide.
Yes, Dr. Naji, we can see
Okay,
your
thank you.
slide.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have an introduction. What is the aim of RT200? It's an initiative, like the MD had said, initiated by both Central Bank and the Bankers Committee. And the aim is to boost foreign exchange earnings into the country. It was born out of the need to develop new strategies. Oil had become our main source of foreign inflows, and the volatility in oil prices based on what's happening in the rest of the world, and that the fact that we don't have control over prices of oil was impacting foreign exchange availability and shortages in the country. So RT200 was initiated. The main objective of the program was to enhance foreign exchange inflows, to diversify the sources of foreign exchange inflows, increase the level of contribution of non-oil exports, ensure stability and sustainability of foreign exchange flows, and support export-oriented companies to expand their export operations and capabilities. And one of the underlying aim is to also ensure that we develop a value chain for the products that we export. So the RT200 has 5 anchors, distinct anchors. And these anchors are value-added export facility, non-oil commodity expansion facility, non-oil forex rebate scheme, and dedicated non-oil export terminals, and then a biannual non-oil export summit, so that we can harness ideas from exporters and experts alike to see what we need to do to further improve and deepen our export process and our export business, especially in the non-oil sector. Of these anchors, the value-adding export facility is to provide concessionary and long-term financing for the building of new or expansion of value-adding facilities or plants, or adding significant value to non-oil exports. And then the non-oil commodity expansion facility was designed to boost local production of non-oil exportable commodities, which are inputs or value addition projects financed under value export expansion facility. Priority will be given to commodities with nation's competitive advantage. Then we have the one that we're talking about today, which is the non-oil rebate scheme. It's a special local currency rebate scheme for non-oil exporters of semi-finished and finished products. That's the operating word. Semi-finished and finished product with veritable evidence of export proceed repatriation. And then we have the dedicated non-oil export terminal, aimed at financing the establishment of an ecosystem of world-class infrastructure, including a dedicated export terminal for non-oil exports in partnering with state government where necessary. And we have the biannual export summit, which is to provide a forum for the discourse of ideas, harnessing of the challenges and opportunities in the non-oil export segment of the economy. All aims to improve the non-oil export sector. and to improve forex exchange flows in that segment. So what are the reasons? We have also enumerated the reason for introducing the rebate. Is to encourage timely repatriation of export proceeds, to ensure exporters gain value for their repatriated funds, to improve liquidity in the foreign exchange market, to create enabling environment for exporters of value-added products, and increase support for export substitution industries. This also would translate to job creation because the value chain would also imply that more workers will be employed in the creation of the value chain. Then we have the modalities and requirements. The eligibilities that you have to be an exporter of finished or semi-finished goods. Exporters shall qualify for rebate only when proceeds are repatriated and sold at either the I&E window or show evidence of its own use. There's transaction prerequisites, export or finish of semi-finished goods or partly processed or manufactured in Nigeria, export of goods and services, IT and creative businesses that are permissible and excluded under existing export prohibition list, completion of an NXP, registration with CAC and NEPC, and the sale of the repatriated export proceed at the I&E window. All this has to be in place before you can be considered for the rebate. There's also some documentation requirements. There has to be a written request from the exporter expressing interest to benefit on the program. Completed application form is provided by the CBN. Evidence of repatriation and sale of proceeds. Claims received from exporter must be submitted via the FIFAX system. And then we have to do verification. Rebate claims submitted via FIFAX should be verified twice for each quarter. First, in the third month of the first 2 quarters in each quarter, and second in the first month of new quarter for the last month of the previous quarter. Rebate shall be computed on all qualified claims upon verification against relevant evidence of repatriation and sale of the export proceed. This is very important. We have had exporters that have come to us or written to us. We didn't benefit from the rebate, but they have not met any of these requirements listed. What are the payment incentives? There are 2 payment incentives. One is 65 Naira for every dollar repatriated and sold at the I&E window for other third-party use. We also have 35 Naira for every dollar repatriated and sold into the I&E window, sold for use for own use on eligible transactions only, with a spread not exceeding 10 kobo. And payment of this incentive shall be made on quarterly basis. As MD has testified, central bank, when they make a promise, they keep to that promise. We have kept to the promise of paying the rebate since we started the rebate. Since the introduction of the rebate, Nigerian non-oil exports grew by 39.9, almost 40%, in 2022 to $4.8 billion. Semi-processed manufactured products made up 36.61% of the exports, overtaking agriculture for the first time in the history of the country. While precious metal made up of 17.06%, and others accounted for 13.21%. About 214 different products ranging from manufactured, semi-processed, solid minerals to raw agricultural products were exported in 2022. It is also worth to know that Nigerian products were exported into 122 countries, with Brazil recording the highest import value of 12.27% in 2022. That means export from Nigeria to Brazil accounted for 12.27% of total exports from Nigeria outside to other countries. 1,172 exporters participated in the non-oil export sector, with Indorama fertilizer chemical taking the lead with 23.25% of the product exported. 31 issuing bank participated in exports in 2022, with Zenith Bank processing the highest NSP values. 19 exit points were used, with Apapa recording the highest tonnage of exports in 2022. The MD had spoken in his introductory remark how Zenith has been an export bank. It's promoted exports, has worked closely with the central bank in promoting exports, holding their exporters' hands and supporting them in the export value chain. And I want to personally applaud Zenith Bank and the staff of Zenith for the work they are doing for the bank and for the Nigerian economy in promoting export and export businesses in Nigeria. Thank you again, Zenith. Please keep up the good work. The MD has also enumerated some of the achievements from the RT200 and the benefits that Zenith customers has accrued. The first quarter, Zenith was paid 2.5 billion. Second quarter, 10.6 billion, 15.6 billion in third quarter, and 29.12 billion, for a total of 57.622 billion. Zenith is the highest rebate beneficiary, and I think Zenith customers can be proud of the bank and the support they are getting from the bank for pushing the export business and helping exporters carry Nigerian flag everywhere around the globe. So again, thank you, Zenith. So the RT200 program is not intended to be the silver bullet to all the challenges in the export segment of the economy. It is just a part. As we have this sports summit, we look for ways on other avenues to help increase export business, especially on the value chain side. So we'll continue to work with harness information, harness ideas from both the banks and the exporters and other subject experts that has ideas on how we as a country can improve our export business and continue to earn more money from export business, especially on the non-oil sector, rather than solely dependent on oil for all our foreign exchange needs. While it is not the silver bullet, it is boosting the productivity and earning capacity of the economy. We can also preserve the long-term value of the naira. So the RT200 has done well, but we're also looking forward to it doing better. Our next conference is coming this May, and we'll be inviting most of you on this platform and all the banks to that conference. We want you to come up with ideas on how best we can improve the export incentive of the central bank and also through your banks. We have had some feedback that the RT200 shouldn't just be for processed and semi-processed goods. But I can tell you that no country ever developed by exporting only primary commodities. So our aim is actually to elevate Nigeria and Nigerian economy to the status of its peers. we have some trade mission to Malaysia, and we went to a palm plantation, and we saw how palm oil is being processed into very different commodities, including fuel for cars. So our goal is to reach to that point where Nigeria is not only seen as a primary product exporter, but a country that has a diverse value chain line that can manufacture and add value to the product and things we produce in this country that can be exported, and we can earn more money for what we export rather than in any peanut, because we're not adding any value to what we export. So on this note, I want to thank the organizers, the MD of Zenith Bank, and everyone on this call for the opportunity to speak to you this morning. And I'll be very ready to answer some questions. Thank you very kindly, and thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much, Dr. Naji Ozomina. Can we appreciate Dr. Naji for such wonderful delivery? Thank you so very much, Dr. Naji.
Thank you very much.
Excellent, and you also kept to time, which is another plus for Dr. Naji. Dr. Naji spoke about the effort of the central bank to boost productivity and earning capacity of the country. It's all about diversification of our national revenues and harnessing the vast resources available in our great country. She emphasized the need for beneficiated export, value-added exports. Thank you, Madam, for your great effort. You are the center of all this project, and we would like to commend the Central Bank of Nigeria for such wonderful initiative aimed at boosting export and revenues and diversifying our revenues in Nigeria. I'm sure we just done 1 or 2 years. In next 3, 4, by the time we are doing the 5th year, I'm sure the goal to achieve $200 billion, we are very much on track in achieving that. Thank you so very much, Dr. Naji, for that wonderful delivery. I've seen some messages on the chat room about requests for the slides. Yes, I'm sure where you have registered for this program, we will endeavor to send you a copy of the slides or the presentations for this program. Right. So we go straight away to have the second paper for the day, which will be on operationalizing the CBN RT200FS program, the role of pre-inspection agents, And this is going to be delivered by Mr. Kunle Ajayi, who is the General Manager of Nairobi Technology. Mr. Ajayi, please. And Mr. Ajayi, you have, say, 30, 40 minutes to deliver your paper.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity given to me to speak to this discussion. Well, let me also join Madam in thanking Zenith for a job well done. For you to have done 55% of the debate so far, that means Zenith is really on top of his game. I also want to note that at the last CBN program, our dear MD, Ebenezer Onyagu, actually gave a lady the opportunity to join your Zero to Hero program for saying that she's been trying to get onto CBN program and the opportunity was not given. So kudos to Zenith. Please, can I share my slide?
I believe you
Hello?
can, Kule. You can share your slides, Kule.
Okay.
Yeah, we have your slides on the screen. We have your slides on the screen. Yeah.
Okay, good. So let me go straight and once more introduce Nairobi Technologies Limited. were appointed by the federal government to handle pre-shipment inspection for all non-oil exports within the south, and southwest zones of Nigeria. We have 4 offices. Our head office is in Abuja, while our operational offices are in Lagos, Akure, and Port Harcourt. Our mandate is very simple, is to carry out pre-shipment inspection of all non-oil goods intended for export to ascertain the quality, quantity, and the pricing. Now, why we do these 3 items, quality checking, quantity, and price checking? It is important to note that while you're checking for the quantity, we need to ensure that the exporters are in line with what the contract document says and what the container can carry to avoid issues. Also with quality too, we ensure that whatever quality is expected by the buyer and in the international market, the customer sticks to it. And thirdly, the pricing too should not be way out of what it is in the international market. Now, aside doing this, we advise exporters. For example, Madam has spoken about the issue of this rebate not applicable to those who have not added value to their products. For example, there's a lot of cocoa that goes out of Nigeria in raw forms. But we've been engaging some of these companies that, look, let us take this thing to the next step, where this cocoa product can be taken to a final product. Our intention was not even born out of this FX 2000, but the fact that when you add value, you make more money. So we engage the exporters one-on-one based on this, and some of them do say that their challenge is with finance. And some of the advice we have given some of them is that you can pull up together if the cost of taking companies under the same production, possibly approach a bank for support. Now also, we get responses from exporters along the line of quality that they must stick to. Some do try to do some corner cutting, but we always advise that if you don't do the right thing, if there's any problem with your shipment, you will be on your own. So those are some of the things we do tell the exporters. Now, so the basic documentation for export. All intending exporters are expected to first get a certificate of incorporation, and then they proceed to NEPC, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, to get a certificate which allow them to export. I'm aware this can be gotten in 24 hours, it's done online, and I don't think it's very expensive. So nobody should have an issue getting the certificate. Then you must have your team. And when all this is done and you want to export, you have to open an e-form on the CBN trade portal. You will need to submit some documents for export. Basically, the performance invoice, commercial invoice, packing list, bill of lading, contract agreement, and whichever it might be, based on whatever you're exporting. And then if all is done and we have inspected and we are satisfied that you have met the conditions, a certificate of clean inspection is given to you, CCI, which is expected that every exporter must have before shipment out of the country. Okay, so now I want to go to the gray areas we have, which if we can sort out, it will make the business faster. A lot of exporters and their agents, even banks, do call us concerning issue of the trade portal. Well, for me, the portal is very seamless, very simple, but the fact is that the window which we work with on the portal, it is different from the one which banks work. It is different from the one which exporters work. So the details on each platform is different. So I would suggest that all exporters must understand the process so that to avoid delay for out and back. Even, like I said, even some banks don't have the full understanding of this process. For example, somebody calling me, an exporter, saying that they paid, but I don't have the NSP in my box. I had to call the bank, and what we found out was that the first level officer had done his job. However, it was lying in the box of the supervisor. And if the supervisor does not approve, it doesn't move back to Neroli or the inspection agent to issue the certificate. Some exporters are actually not ready for inspection, but they will call you. And by the time you get there, they either tell you they don't have enough containers, or even the goods they want to export is not yet complete. What does that mean? We'll probably have to abandon that inspection and come back, and then wait till they have enough containers or goods. Although we have spoken to a lot of them, where you don't have everything set, you can do partial shipment. It's allowed now, and some of them are still not aware. So rather than waste your time and time, tell us you want to do this X, Y, Z, but this is the one you are ready to do now, and then we'll be glad to come and do it for you. Another challenge is informal exports. We are aware that some people are still trying to be smart by not following the due process for export. And we tell the whole world that, look, if you don't follow the right process, if anything goes wrong, you are on your own. Again, if you don't follow the right process, you cannot benefit this rebate system, you cannot benefit EEG. If you don't have a proper documentation, no bank will finance you. And if there's any issue of loss, you are on your own. So these are which we also speak to exporters. Now, another one is delay in next payment upload. Also, from my experience at this point, we find that at times an exporter again walks into our office and says they paid now in a bank that we should issue CCI. However, the process is that when they pay in a bank, the bank is supposed to upload onto the portal so that we will see a lot that they paid and then we issue CCI. And this one speaks to banks in general, not Zenith. Quite a number of approvals for this comes in the evening. When I get home at 7:30 is that banks most times don't go to the portal and upload immediately this money is being paid. They probably, because of one or two things, put them aside, and when the banking knowledge is a bit lighter, they start posting. Because as soon as this express pay, they come to us, I want my CCI. So at times I look up, we show it to them on the system. It hasn't come to us, so we can call them to upload. So that's also one of the things we wish would improve on. Some of these exporters, they will have loaded their containers and before coming to us for inspection. And I say, so what are we going to do when you have loaded the container? Our job is to witness, one, that even the container you're using is in good shape, and to be sure that whatever you want to put in that container, we see it. So when you have loaded the container full and you are calling me for inspection, what am I supposed to say? So that's another issue which we wish can be corrected by exporters. Now, there's another issue, communication gap between exporters and their agents. Quite so often, when the agents come to us for inspection, they will tell us that they are using a Papa port. However, when the exporter issued open NXP, he put Tinkan port. Now, these are things that also causes delay. When we now say, can you reconfirm from the exporter? They can say the man is out of the country, they can't get in. And we say this, look, if exporter has written this, you are written something else, we need to clarify before we can move on. Because if you don't, you come back to us again to come and say, what about that? At times too, you find exporter saying, goods is going to Amsterdam, the agent writing France. So we will expect that the communication gap or information flow between the exporter and the agent is now, let's go to expectations from banks and exporters. Appropriate pricing. Like I said, our mandate to ensure that fair pricing is done. Now, we see at times an exporter writing $500 per metric ton for something that the lowest price in the international market is 1.5 per metric ton. And when we engage these exporters, we find that what they're just trying to do is to beat the system. Some of them do tell us that yes, because they are meant to sell it through the repartition account. That's why they are trying to dodge. But we keep telling them, look, you are doing the country and yourself. You can't be doing this. So please, exporters need to be careful with this, not giving prices that are far, far below what the international market price is, and then find another way to get their balance from the buyer abroad. Yes, we wish that before exporters call us for inspection, they should have their products ready and as well their containers ready. And like I said before, where you feel that you need to make that export, but you don't have enough, do a partial shipment. It's allowed. All we're trying to do is to reduce the time of processing this CCI. It is very important because some of these items are even perishables. Some of these items, when they get to port, they start giving demo rate. Some of them may even lose their contract. So it is in the interest of all that we work together. And then again, the issue of documents. Some agents will come over, and when you ask them for documents, they will go and take days to come back and bring this up. And I ask, before you decided you want to make this export, you must have made up your mind all that you needed to do this. So why is it not taking so much time? You now find at times the exporters now call you directly and say that, oh, their job is pending with us. And by the time you check, it is pending because the agent is here to bring the required documents. So we also did it in this scenario that all exporters must work closely, must put their agents on their toes, because some of them take so many jobs at the same time, and they now begin to prioritize at times when they don't have enough time. There are also some exports that require some certain certification or extra license. Somebody wants to export some explosives now. You need some special permits. But you find out that it is when they get here, you now ask them, where is this? They tell you that they don't have it yet. And then they want you to go ahead. And I say, look, we can't go against the law. If the law says you must provide this, you have to provide it. So we will also speak to our exporters to please ensure that all the necessary permits that you need are always available by the time you approach your PIA. Back to this issue of the child exporter, I would like us to please ensure they have a good grasp of how the system works, because it is a seamless flow from start to stop. Understand what to do on the portal. And if you have any issue, you can either call CBN or even call us, Nairobi. We know which department to deal with if there's an issue. There are times some people say they cannot view the NXP. It is possible with the CBN team that resolves all these issues. So that's another thing I need to explain. Again, we have to continue on things like this. Once again, I appreciate Zenith for this kind of interactive session. We have to keep on doing this so that our experts keep on getting to understand better exports. And some information they don't have, at this kind of forum, they will get it. So kudos to it once more. Now, another issue that can cause a delay is when there's a need for a change in information on the. Now, what most agents do is when there is a need to change something on the NXP, they will just come on their own and write that we should change it. That does not work that way. Changing, not an agent. So I would like the exporters to please sensitize their agent. If there's a need to change something material on the NXP, it can only be done under the authority of the exporter. So again, it is to synergy between exporters and agents. Information and all that for the export. So I will put my slide Zenith for this opportunity, and we are anytime want us in.
Yes, Kuli Ajayi, are you done? I think your audio is pretty not clear. All right. Thank you, Kunle. Thank you so very much. Kunle, are you there? Kunle Ajayi, are you there? I think he's maybe having some technical challenges, but thank you very much for that wonderful delivery.
Thank you, sir.
On the role of special agents in driving this program. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
Well, yes, and I think there are so many gray areas you've touched on. Indeed, these are the areas that usually cause delays around the ports and export of our goods and services out of this country. And the delays are partly from the exporters, from the banks, from the government itself. The delays are coming from all the stakeholders. So there's a lot for us to learn to see how we can cut off some of these unnecessary delays and people can get their goods, their exports out of our ports as quickly as possible. Thank you so very much. And again, you kept to your time very well. So we move quickly to the Q&A part of this meeting. And there are a few questions that are here, and I'm sure more questions are coming into the chat room. All right, so I just read a few of the questions, and I will probably call the attention of Dr. Naji or Kunle, depending on what question we have here. All right, so I think the first one here is a comment, and it's a comment, I believe, directed at Zenith Bank, that all effort to open the dollar account has been impossible. So we gave up and stick to another bank. When you have this excellent product, why make it so difficult to open a DOM account? I think that comment is directed at Zenith Bank. And this person did not identify himself, so I don't really know who this person is. But whosoever you are, please, it's not so difficult. It shouldn't be very difficult for you to open an account with Zenith. So if you have such challenge, we would like to advise that if you're in Lagos, you may come to the head office and you can speak with me. You can ask to see Henry Oro, and I will look at what issues that you have around opening a DOM account. But you are advised to visit any of our branches. We have so many branches in Lagos area and around the country, and ask to see the branch manager of the branch you visit. And I'm sure your issues can also be resolved at that level. It shouldn't be such a problem opening an account with Zenith. In fact, we are asking for people to come and open an account with Zenith. So it shouldn't be a problem. Thank you for that feedback. Now, the other question I have here is from Franklin Joe. And I believe this is directed at Dr. Naji Uzomena. She said, thank you so much, Dr. Naji. Thank you so much, Dr. Naji. By when, I think the point is, the question is, what do the CBN think that they will be able to, how soon can they clear the backlog of the previous years of unpaid rebates? And what is the estimate of the backlog? How soon can CBN clear the backlog of the previous year rebates? And what is the estimate of that backlog? Madam, you probably want to give a response to that, and then we'll take the next question.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you very much. Mr. Franklin, we do not have any backlog. Fourth quarter rebate has been paid. Fourth quarter rebate has been paid, so there's no backlog on the rebate payment.
Very good. I am a witness to that statement by Dr. Naji. I think the CBN has been paying these rebates on a quarterly basis routinely. So if you don't have your rebates paid, again, this is an anonymous, okay, this is frankly Joe. If your rebate has not been paid, you are advised to speak with your bank, and your bank will probably look at your documentation and see what the issues are. There are also gray areas, not only with inspection, there are also gray areas and pre-qualification documentation requirements that will either aid or impede the payment of rebate to you. And your bank should be very well briefed about that. So Dr. Naji has told us that there are no backlogs from the central bank, and all rebates have been paid up to date. Thank you, Dr. Naji. And thank you, frankly, Joe.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Dr. Naji, I can tell you a lot of the questions here are directed to you. You are this whole thing is around the central bank and your office. No wonder a lot of the questions are directed at your good self, madam. So the next question, madam, is to your good self. It says, please, ma'am, what are the plans around the setup of non-oil terminals that you spoke about? I think one of your 5 anchor points is the setting up of the non-oil terminal dedicated for exports. And this person is not very clear whether that terminal or that investment has been made. So what are the plans around setting up the non-oil export terminals? That is one of the 5 anchors that the central bank has. Dr. Naji, please.
There's been effort at setting up a dedicated non-oil export terminal. There's a plan to set one up at the dry port in Ogun State. And we also have Eastern Port. I think we're looking for partners that will partner with the central bank to make sure that when the ports are set up, that is work efficiently, and that we also have traffic at the port. We have Oshodi transit ports that is also dedicated for non-oil agricultural perishable goods, so that they don't stand badge to the terminals from the Oshodi terminals. So a lot of work is going on there. Some have started, some are in the works. But remember that this program only started February last year, but a lot of accelerated work has started. People have been putting bid to be the ones bidding for these terminals. And we are working on accelerating those terminal built up, because we're really serious about promoting non-oil exports and making sure that congestion at the port doesn't hamper and discourage those that want to engage in non-oil exports. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Naji. And in addition to what the doctor has said, if infrastructure takes time to develop, it's not just export or import. You need to make the investment, and it takes time to build infrastructure anywhere around the globe. So like she has said, I'm sure in time, those dedicated terminals will be completed, and exporters will have the benefit of having seamless exports. The next question also goes to the distinguished Dr. Zamina Naji. So please, I would like to ask, can FS received in a previous quarter be processed through I&E in another quarter and be qualified for ROT 200 rebate? That is, FS received repatriated funds in a previous quarter. Can it be processed and sold through I&E in the following quarter and still be qualified for rebate under the ROT 200 program? Doctor, I don't know whether you want to, yeah.
Yes, I see no reason why that shouldn't qualify. Yes, it should qualify as long as it is sold in the I&E window, and is an export that is repatriated. It should qualify.
Yes, I think the guidelines do not really state any of those limitations. So if you if you repatriated your export proceeds in quarter one, what Dr. Naji has said is that it is possible for you to process through the banks and get your rebate in quarter two or quarter three, as long as you can show documentation that support all that. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
And the next question also goes to you. It says, can software companies benefit from this scheme? Can software companies benefit from this scheme? And especially those that export software and coding services. So this goes into the area of export of services. Talk of non-oil export.
Export of services.
Yeah.
I mentioned during the presentation that export of services and creative industries can benefit from the ROT 200. We just have to show evidence of the contract between you and the next person. We're also working with the Ministry of Finance and Customs on developing what we call e-form NSP F. So which will be for services and for other things that are not tangible goods. So if you render legal services to companies abroad and you get paid Forex and it's repatriated into the country, that you can benefit from it. We're putting those modalities in place. It should be in place very soon. But in the meantime, if you exported IT services or other non-commodity services that you want to benefit from this rebate, all we need from you is where's the contract between you and the party that you exported to, or the services, the service provider that you provided services to? How much was the contract? How much was repatriated? What is the nature of services that you provided? And that will suffice for now until we come up with the NSP for service sector. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you, Doctor. And yet another question for your attention. And this is from Adamu Onako. He says, I want to know if there is any scheme to help potential exporters acquire machinery for processing export products. If there's any scheme to help potential exporters acquire machinery for processing export products.
Yes, we have the non-oil expansion facility. That scheme is to help you acquire machinery for value addition for your exports, and you can access these funds through your banks and through the central. Your bank would then request for the work with the central bank to make sure that you have all the requirements and that you can get those facilities are there. So the answer is yes.
Yes, indeed. And Adamo, if you have an account with Zenith, we advise that you walk into any branch of Zenith also for further clarification on this, and you can access this support through Zenith Bank.
Thank you very much.
So this is the next is Emeka and Ikwe. Is there a scheme to support exporters to register their products with other countries' regulatory bodies? You're an exporter from Nigeria, and you are looking for a scheme to register your product with other countries' regulatory bodies. I don't know whether Dr. Naji want to speak to this, or I will just also support you in this. Dr. Naji?
I think it depends on what regulatory bodies that you're talking about or working with. I think regulatory bodies like NAFDAC, SUN, and the Quarantine Services has partnership with other regulatory bodies outside of Nigeria, and they work together to certify product and accept those products. So yes, some of our regulatory bodies work with their counterparts in other jurisdictions. But we also know that sometimes exporters don't follow the due process of what the regulatory bodies want. And so when their goods get to the port of sale, those goods are rejected. So it's really important that if you're working with any regulatory body, that you follow due process, that you don't cut corners, and that you follow their regulation and their mandates to the letter, so that once your goods are certified by them, those counterparties in other countries would accept those products. Mr. Henry, you can also chip in.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. You had a very, very, very good attempt on that. The question is on the fence, right? It's neither here nor there. But Emeka, the point remains that every country has its own rules, and you have to comply with the rules of the country you are doing business with. But like Dr. Naji had explained, moving forward, the African Free Continental Trade Area, or the African Free Continental Trade Zone, is an initiative put together by member countries in Africa to promote intercontinental trade within Africa. And this program is also there to remove the bottlenecks with respect to trade within members. So the FCTA will also help in removing those bottlenecks and probably reducing the tariffs and taxes and stringent requirements from different countries around Africa. So in a few years, as FCTA gets more established, I'm sure those bottlenecks will be reduced or entirely removed. I think the next question again is quite related to that to register products with Ghana's FDA, I think that is Food and Drug Administration, for example, is very expensive. Registering products with FDA, Ghana's FDA is very expensive. Can we get support for that? So I think it's a similar question to the previous one. The FDA of Ghana is guided under the laws of Ghana, and we have to comply with whatever requirement that is. But like I said, under the FCTA, some of those bottlenecks, I'm sure will be removed or entirely reduced or entirely removed in no distant time. Thank you, Dr. Naji. I think the last question I have for you here, Doctor, is about the issues of finished and semi-finished goods. This person would like to have more clarification about what constitutes finished and semi-finished goods, so that they are not found wanting in this area. Dr. Naji, please. I think you are muted.
CBN doesn't work in isolation. We work with other agencies in implementation of any program we're engaging in. Our classification is withdrawn from the classification put forward by Nigeria Export Promotion Council, which is the organization charged with export promotion in Nigeria. And they have product classification for what they consider primary products, semi-finished products, and finished products. So with that classification that is adopted in this RT 200 scheme, you can go to the NEP website and you will see the classification. What product is classified as primary, semi-finished, and finished product.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Naji. Now, Kule Ajayi, I think the audience is very kind to you, and very limited questions have been directed at you.
And very not kind to me. No, but they have good questions. So go ahead.
Excellent. Thank you, Doctor. Now, Tunde Ajayi, you spoke about the gray areas. I consider those gray areas as much of the problems exporters have had over time. You know, the gray areas that customers need to comply, exporters need to comply with. We spoke of lack of full understanding of the CBN trade and monetary quota, inadequate number of containers to load goods by exporters, and communication gap, among others. Appropriate pricing. Would you want to spend some more time to elaborate on some of those gray areas so that our distinguished audience can also take some lessons from it? Kunle, please.
Okay. Like I said about pricing, for example, now average cashew is going for $1,000 per metric ton. So if any exporter is coming to put $500 per metric ton, does it mean the exporter wants to cheat himself, or is it out of ignorance? Because if you're going to trade in the international market, you should have an idea of what place in the international market. So one of our duties is to look at it and advise those who genuinely are not pricing well to say, look, on your next consignment, look at what the prices are. Not go and sell yourself cheap. Therefore, work with us so that we can get the right pricing and the right value for your goods. Now, again, on the issue of
no, before you go to the next, Kunle, please. Why do exporters under invoice their exports? Why do they do that?
Now, well, I guess as a banker, you might have an opinion why this is done. Now, if it is 1,005 and you quote 500, it means that what is coming into CBN, your account to CBN, is only $500. So you are now at liberty to play around with the 1,000 remaining with your buyer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very correct. You are very correct. You
Yes.
are very clear. But the point is, with the CBN rebate program, where you can now repatriate your full export, properly priced, and get probably 35 naira per dollar or 35 naira per dollar, depending whether you are sending to the banks or you are using for your own. That's a massive opportunity. So with this opportunity, why do
to stop them from that practice?
Correct.
Yes.
So I believe exporters will take advantage of this rebate, this program, to distinct from under invoicing. You are changing yourself, and you are not patriotic by doing that, because the revenues don't come to this country, and you are under more or less not patriotic, as it were. So please let's note that and do proper invoicing and pricing for our exports. There's a lot of benefit in ROT 200 program for you. Thank you. Yes, go ahead, Kule. We are going to say on that point.
Oh, okay. The issue of what's the next one? Sorry, ask me.
No. You spoke about the appropriate pricing, and you were going to move on to other gray areas that need to be addressed by stakeholders.
Okay. For example, now another issue is when, because I even saw this question online. when you are not ready, probably you are not able to source enough products, or you are not able to get enough containers. Just present what is available on ground. Part shipment is allowed. CBN has told us this for long. So you can come forward and do that which is ready. You understand? And then ship. You don't have to pay the whole nest at once. You pay the nest as per shipment. So it's not that you are going to pay the whole, no. For that shipment for which you are ready to do, you will pay next for only that shipment. And when you are ready to do the next batch, you come over again on this same NXP. I'm ready to do the next batch. We'll go ahead. Even if you like 3-4 tranches, there is nothing wrong with it. But it's better than getting stuck and then we start going forth and back. So another gray area which we just yes, is this informal export. Some exporters still don't comply with the regulations as per export. Several times the CBN has said it that nobody should export, whether through air, water, or whatever, without having a CCI. But for example, now I know that wood and charcoal have been under ban for quite a while, and the government is now trying to lift the ban, but with some terms. But I know, we all know that these things still go out. And we keep telling them, look, it's not good for you to do these things to your country. When you do all those kind of things, so many things can also come bad in your way. If you have any issues with that consignment, you can't go to anybody and say, bank, CBN, Neroli, help me. Nobody can help you. Because what you have done is not right. But I don't know why some people still prefer to do that. So that's how I would like to speak to. And then again, like I said, the trade portal, as it is, CBN is working on improving the system. For now, filling out the RFI, that is request for information, is done manually. CBN has developed a software such that you don't need to come to a PIO's office. You can pick the RFI online and then fill it, attach your documents, and send it to the PIA. So once you get to the PIA, we will look at it. If it's the documents are in order, we will now invite you to come and take us for the inspection. Now, the picture of this is that one is that nobody will have to come to any PI's office. You will sit in the office and request for inspection. And when we finish, the CCI, once it is approved, every stakeholder has a copy of the system. You don't have to come to any PI again to pick the CCI. So that's another way which the CBN is working seriously to ensure that we decrease the time for processing CCI. So that's what I'll say on that.
Very good. Thank you, Kunle. Thank you, Kunle. Thank you so very much. Yeah. I'd like to move back to Dr. Naji. Dr. Naji, I believe you are there. Dr. Naji. Right. Dr. Naji, are you there, please? Dr. Naji, please, can you unmute her? She might.
Hello.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Dr. Now, this is, I think, the last question for you for today.
Yes.
We have it that some industry operators have complained about excluding some basic agri products from the scheme.
Yes.
And products like cocoa, palm kernel, palm oil. Is that the case? And what is the reason behind this exclusion?
Because those products are not processed, it's just raw cocoa that is exported, and those are classified according to NEPC as primary products. We want people in those industries to please find ways to add value to their products. It's not only good for the country, it's also good for them as producers. They get more money for their products and the efforts, and they bring more money into the country as export products. Like I said before,
Very
no
good.
country ever develops by exporting primary products. People add value to what they produce so that they can make more money, so that you're not working hard for other people to make money off of your hard work.
Thank you, Doctor. You can never be more correct. When you export cocoa bean, you probably, and you import the chocolate, you are probably importing a product that is over 20 times in value from the cocoa bean you have exported. So we're truly throwing away value from this country and to continue to just export primary products without any value addition. So I think the intention is clear, and I believe that will also encourage exporters to begin to create value, add value, and beneficiate their products. Thank you so very much, Dr. Naji and Kule Ajayi, for your time. I have enjoyed and learned from your papers.
Kule's hand is up again. Eric,
And
please,
the
sorry.
answers you have. Okay. Okay, Kule, you. Okay, go ahead, Kule Ajayi.
Yes, on the last issue, which Madam just spoke down, Zenith being the leader in this business, I'm just thinking, is there any way you can bring some of these top companies together? Because those who do cocoa, there are a lot of them, and there are a lot of big companies who do it. Where there can be a kind of synergy so that because most of them will tell you the reason why they don't take it to the next step is funding to get the equipment. Not that they can't get it, but it's actually the funding. So is there any way Zenith can assist them, aggregate them, and find out how they can move to the next level? I know there's a company in Ondo that has taken cocoa to cake level and smaller level, but not yet to the final level. Maybe we can work with them so that we can get to this level, because the more value you add, the more money comes in. So that's what I wanted to check in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good point, Kule Ajayi. And indeed, I can tell you there are a lot of customers in that category that Zenith has supported and will continue to support to grow their business from that primary level to a more value-added level. So that is why we are organizing this program on an annual basis. And this is a workshop in addition to our annual program to sensitize and get the citizenry, our customers, to be more aware about what is available. So the point is, if you are a customer there and you require that support, you walk to any branch of Zenith Bank, ask to speak to the branch manager, and that branch manager will direct you on what to do. You can also visit our head office, where we all sit here as directors, and we are also willing and available to you 24/7. Thank you, Kule Ajayi, for that update. And once again, thank you for your paper, and thank you, Dr. Naji, for your support always. that is taking us towards the end of this program. And before we leave, I would like to ask my dear colleague and friend, Dr. Tope Fashiranti, who will give us some closing remarks and will bring today's seminar to a close. Dr. Fashiranti, please.
Henry, thank you very much. Let me say very good morning to everyone, particularly Kunle Ajayi and Mrs. Naji from the Central Bank. Distinguished exporters, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the management and staff of Zenith Bank, I wish to express my very profound appreciation to you all for taking our time to attend this workshop today. And I know that we've all been impacted positively. Even myself, I've learned a lot just taking notes from the presentation, even from the questions. And I must say that the events, Henry, I want to thank you because of the very, very perfect coordination. It was a 2 hours event. And looking at my time, we're right on the dot of just concluding in 2 hours. So thank you for your coordination, Henry. All right, thank you very much. Now, let me first of all start by expressing profound appreciation to the brain behind the excellent performance of Zenith Bank in the non-oil export. And that is my group MD, Dr. Ebenezer Onyago. Sir, your vision for the bank, for the banking sector, and indeed for this country is a great inspiration to all of us. Zenith Bank is doing well today in the exports, non-oil exports space, and in fact in the industry because of the vision and the leadership. So thank you, sir. Let me thank Mr. Ajayi, Kunle Ajayi, that's the GM of Neroli Technology, for the very great insight that you've given us today, for the guidance that you provided for all the exporters and all the stakeholders. In fact, the takeaway, I can assure you, will improve the logistics around the export of non-oil items. And I'm sure that the necessary steps needed to fully optimize, the opportunities that surround the RT 2000 program, we will see that taken by all the exporters. Madam Mrs. Naji, Dr. Naji rather, thank you so much. You are really a friend of the bank. You've been speaking in almost all our export events. I want to thank you very much as you continue to share your vision with us. Indeed, you are the chief promoter of the RT 200 program. And thank you for your very well articulated presentation. Your passion for the growth of the non-oil exports reflects strongly in the results you've seen. Under the leadership of the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, we've seen that growth. In fact, in 2022, CBN paid out a total of about 120 billion to exporters, 120 billion to promote the non-oil export. And out of that, 57 billion was paid through Zenith. That shows that's almost about 40-something% of the market. And that also shows the presence and even our involvement in driving the program also. So I want to say a big thank you, madam, to you. The partnership we've had with all the stakeholders, we'll continue to offer it in our non-oil exports seminars that we'll continue to offer. And I'm sure that we will see more in this regard that going forward. Now, for 2023, we're looking forward to a very much brighter non-oil export partnership with our exporters. We're going to continue to offer our support programs to stakeholders. It will be our Zero to Hero program. My group MD already mentioned that will continue. What that program does is to offer to starters, in that export space, teach them the theories, the documentation, the policies, the laws on non-oil export businesses, and to also teach them on market access, entry, whether it's local or overseas. We will continue to conduct regular training programs for young exporters. We will continue to support the Central Bank and the NEPC programs to enlighten exporters, to give enrichment programs and developments in the sector across every event that is being planned by the CBN or NEPC in the country also. And madam, I heard you on the Kunle Ajayi spoke on the funding. Also, we will continue to offer very flexible funding packages, whether it's pre-shipment, point of shipment, post-shipment, financing. We have a lot of packages that is available to exporters. The company in Ondo you mentioned will reach out to you to get the name and we'll engage them. In fact, Ondo State is where we have a lot of exporters we're working with, many of them they were working with, financing and providing logistics for their exports also. So let me close by saying a very big thank you to everyone. MD, CEO, Zenith Bank, thank you, sir. My colleagues, directors that are here, I see Akin, I see Adobe, Henry has spoken extensively. Thank you very much. To the team that organizes Acha, Sheson, the rest of the team in trade services, I want to say a big thank you. I know some staff are here of Zenith Bank. Thank you to everyone. And to every person on the platform, on the YouTube, on the social media, many people are following us across various platforms. I want to say a very big thank you and God bless you all. We're going to meet again at the next export event. That's the annual international seminar. They're going to that will come up in the next few months. Thank you, everyone, and God bless you. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Tokwe, for those words. And indeed, we thank Acha's team. We thank staff of Zenith who have put this together. We're in this committee that put this together. And we thank you, our dear customers and friends who have all signed on and through this program. Like Tokwe said, in a couple of months, we will come up with our annual export seminar on non-oil exports. So thank you very much, Dr. Naji. Thank you very much, Kunle Ajayi, and our directors of Zenith Bank who are signed on, Adobe, Akin. And of course, we'd like to again acknowledge our group MDC for his strong leadership always, Dr. Ebenezer Onyango. So thank you, and it's just the beginning of the program. The point is, let's take the lessons that we have learned today and go out there and promote export and execute export programs. Let's support our customers, and if you're a customer here and exporter, take the lessons and see how you can improve your export programs to improve repatriation of export processes to this country, diversify export processes to this country, and harness the vast resources that we have in this country. Thank you very much. And that brings us to the end of this meeting. I'd like to invite a friend to say the closing prayers for us. Do we have Abubakar Sadiq Musa in the house? Abubakar Sadiq Musa. Sharifat Aminu, are you here? Okay, let's have Dada Adia. Dada Adia, please.
It's on a platform, sir. Can you unmute Sharifat? Okay, Sharifat, can you speak, please?
Is Sharifat here? Okay. I'm sure they probably have issues unmuting themselves. Can you unmute Sharifat? Sharifat, over to you for closing prayers, please. All right. Henry Nwakwa, please, you can close for us in prayers.
Come on, use this one.
Thank you very much. Our dear God and Father, we thank you for this webinar. We thank you for everything you've been doing for us. We thank you for the leadership of the bank. We also thank you for the leadership of Nigeria, and that Nigeria will become a better place to live. The bank will get bigger, and our customers would be bigger in their businesses. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right. Thank you so very much.